안녕하세요. You're listening to 4 from On One podcast. Welcome back to another episode of 4 from On One. All three hosts are present this evening. Myself, Giovanni, Keith, and Hyukjun. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Hello.
Yes, so everybody's
I'm
kind of
all-
scattered a little bit all over the place this evening, which is for the best, right? Good things are coming our way. And hey,
Yep.
if you're a first-time listener, welcome to our podcast. 4 for Manwan is our channel broadcasting from Seoul, South Korea, where we discuss a variety of topics related to teaching English, travel, food, and many other cultural aspects. So tune in weekly as each new episode is released and have a listen to our earlier episodes. So guys, just kind of want to kind of throw that out there in case we're finding new audiences each week. But in today's episode specifically, we're actually going to be taking a glimpse of what travel was like prior to like the internet, well before Wi-Fi was accessible at every corner. Just think about that, ponder that for a minute. And while you're pondering that, let's just kind of do a weekend recap. I just mentioned we're kind of all over the place right now. A lot of things happened over the weekend. It was a 4-day weekend. We had the fall holiday of Chuseok that we brought up, I believe, in the previous episode. And we all kind of did our own little things. Who wants to kind of share what they did first? I know Keith was super busy. He'll tell you why in just a second. Who wants to take it away first? Be my guest.
All right,
Nobody?
I'll go first then.
All right, Keith, go ahead.
Yep. All right, so Gio knows I moved out of my apartment, so I'm now homeless. I am
He looks it
staying
too.
in
He looks it too.
Goshiwon. I just pulled my washing down just then. So I'm staying in a small hotel right now. I'm trying to keep my voice down a little bit.
Yeah.
So I am free. No more teaching. I'm so happy today. I spent the whole day outside when I could have been inside teaching.
Yeah.
Taking photos, taking videos, and I went to a soccer match. Just delayed our podcast tonight. Sorry, boys. But yeah, so I'm very happy to be free. I don't miss teaching yet.
Yes. No, congratulations.
Yeah.
And like Keith just mentioned, he is free now. He actually has more time to work on his travel channel. If you haven't heard of it already or looked up on YouTube, you can go to Living MLN and subscribe to his channel. He's got a lot of good stuff. In just the past month alone, he's already published what, about a dozen videos already?
And now I'm going to try to go three a week. I got one coming tomorrow, so it's time to work hard.
Yeah. No, best of luck to you.
감사합니다.
Yeah. Hyukjun, what about you? What did you get up to over the Chuseok weekend?
Actually, my Chuseok was not like a traditional one because I don't see any relatives much. I went to my sister's place and babysitting my nephew and niece, Choka. So yeah, my entire Chuseok holiday was babysitting.
Yeah.
1-year-old and 2-year-old. Well, I cannot say it was fun though, but it was really great to see my mom there, my sister there, and the little kids, like I can see their eyes are like changing when they see me. When they first see me, they're like, "Oh, stranger, who are you?" But like I play with them, I fed them, I washed them, and then their looks are getting different, and they're like, "Oh, Samchon, don't go."
Yeah.
And the last time, that was cool.
Saw the photos; they were adorable. You look really happy being with your niece and nephew.
Yeah,
very touching.
That's cool.
That's nice. That's great.
And what about you, Gio? What did you get up to?
Well, I too had my hands full with 2 children. Friday was a very, very easy day. It was just a nice day off, just kind of relax, even though I've had this whole month off with paternity leave and all. But Saturday was like the busy day. We went to my in-laws. They hosted us. My brother-in-law brought over his girlfriend slash fiance, who we met for the first time, like ever. Like we knew they were dating for 5 years, but it was the first time he actually brought him to his parents' place to kind of make the formal introduction. and
5
basically say
years.
that they're
Wow.
yeah, 5 years they've been together, and they're gonna get married this upcoming spring in April. So
Oh,
in
really?
April, so yeah, it's only
Congrats.
7 months already. So we just said make sure you don't get married on our son's birthday party because that'll be his 1 year birthday party. Because I won't go to the wedding. I won't be there.
Ah,
um, yeah, so that was Saturday. It was cool. The girls, they wore their hanbok, looked super adorable. Giano didn't have his
Mhm.
hanbok, but he did get some cash, so that's always nice.
Nice.
And then Sunday, we drove over to my cousin's place in Itaewon, and where they kind of hosted us. We just had some nice like breakfast burritos, some coffee, some donuts, and just just kind of kick back, rested a little bit. And then yesterday was just drawing a blank right now. I don't think I did anything yesterday. I think
Cleaning
I
my
just
stuff.
wanted to relax. Yeah, that was basically it. But this week's gonna be a busy one. Whatever. Uh,
the
oh,
mess cooker.
yeah, it's that's kind of stuff that's kind of hard to sell. Like the smaller appliances, they're not taking any bites on
Yeah.
carrot. Oh, that's right. That's what I did on Friday. I went to meet you, pick up your stuff. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
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 Mm.
Friday I picked up his stuff. But yeah,
Here's my pawn shop. What's it called? Pawn shop store.
offense or what are those called? But no, offense is like stolen goods, and then you're selling for that. Never mind. I don't want any legal action.
No,
No, on to better things. This week,
Mm.
well, tomorrow is actually mine and So Young's 4th wedding anniversary.
Oh,
Oh,
congratulations.
So thank you. Yeah, for short happy years. But the funny thing is, we've never actually had just I don't want to say proper, but we've never had like a traditional anniversary where it's just like the two of us, right? We've
okay.
always had to have our kids like come along. Well, this would be Jonah's first time joining along, but we're going to Nami Island. That's our spot.
Oh,
So
cool.
Nice.
yeah, we're gonna take the ferry across, stay at the little resort there, and I'm hoping for the weather to kind of be cool now. I want to just try to wear like cozy, comfortable sweaters and hoodies and stuff like that.
Mm.
But we'll be there for a couple days, and that's basically it. That was my weekend in a nutshell. As you know, we had the passing of the Queen, right? Queen Elizabeth II,
Yeah.
after 70 years on the throne.
Mm.
Hyuk-jin, let me ask you this. Were you
Yeah.
aware of the Queen's existence or the royal family? Were you very familiar? Because Soyeon had no idea. Like she had no idea that there was a royal family like at all.
I mean, I had a little experience in Commonwealth country, so
Sure.
Mm.
And that's what I
I
assumed.
well know about it. But actually, I was drinking on the
Of
I
course.
believe it was a Thursday night in Korea. I was watching the CNN and BBC. It was kind of like breaking news that
Yes.
the Her Majesty was in her health crisis,
Mm.
and then like 2 hours later, like they officially says the London
Boom.
Bridge is down. Yeah,
And she passed away in her castle in Edinburgh, right? In Scotland?
yeah.
Her little retreat palace.
Mm.
Wow. You
Mm.
know how I found out? On Reddit. On Reddit. Of all places. Like I was just scrolling and it just said the breaking news. It said, Queen Elizabeth passed away. And I thought, what is going on? But
Yeah.
obviously I had to go right to the source.
Yeah,
My sister-in-law.
I think we need a view from the Australian who is actually kind of related to Her Majesty, right?
And I was still surprised
Yeah.
before he said something. I was still surprised to find that like Canada and Australia were still like commonwealths when they're very like independent wealthy nations. Like they still kind of threw me
Oh,
off. But
Yeah, we had to try going republic in the 90s, but I think until my grandma's generation is totally gone, because they all fought for the Queen and all that sort of stuff. So I think we got to wait for that too. I think eventually we'll become a republic, but I like to have the Queen because once the English Queen system's gone or King, that vision of a queen, a king, no other country really has it much anymore. I know we get a Danish queen as well. I don't know if you know, we got a Danish princess.
yes.
The Denmark king prince married an Australian, so we got a Danish queen or princess, one of those.
Sure.
But it's cool to have a bit of a royal family. If they're not there, then we just got presidents, like American
or the
presidents.
democratic,
Yeah.
you're saying?
We just have democracy, that's all. Who needs
Yeah.
democracy?
to be honest, they don't do anything, do they?
They
But
don't
it's just
know.
cool to have a
It's really
queen or a
nice.
king or see the traditions. Like these traditions, some they're doing is still 400 years old. Some of these clothes and traditions that they're doing is it's cool
Well, let
to,
me ask you this: do Australian like tax dollars go to the royal family?
I guess so. I think so.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Oh, you have no
But
idea? Okay.
but everyone's talking about because she's on our money. Yeah, she's on our
Yes, that's the
coins,
thing.
and
Yeah,
she's
just like in
so
Canada,
when does the king become on our money and all that sort of stuff? There's a
King
couple of
Charles
years.
III. Yeah.
Like people are already pushing for Australian famous people to go onto the money, like Steve Irwin and stuff like this, instead
See,
of
that'd
the
be
king.
nice, right?
Yeah,
Former yeah.
yeah.
crocodile hunter.
Especially if
Yeah.
instead of King Charles, how long is he? How long is he gonna be around for? So
Oh,
yeah,
come on, knock on wood, take it easy.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's 50-50 in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think my grandma generation, they all still love the Queen, and
Yeah.
Mm.
That's good. Nice. All right. Well, thank you for that little insight. I had no idea. But, no, that's
No,
good. It's good to know. This day
yeah,
in history. Good.
I liked it. Have you been? Have you been to Europe and all the kings and the castles and all the sort of stuff?
I
You
mean,
like
I
that sort of
love seeing all
history?
the palaces, all that. I'm such a big history buff. And it's just, I'm more astonished by the architecture, the fact that these establishments were just compiled, probably just from peasants, just by hand. The fact that these things still stand after centuries. It's not even like the glorious thing, oh, a king lived here. It's more like the people that actually built it. Like, wow,
Yeah.
it can still withstand. And yet in the city of Chicago, it takes like 10 years just for like a pothole to get covered. You see what I'm saying? It's just, yeah, it's nice. I love all that stuff. That's what I love about that old world about Europe.
Yeah.
So speaking of different countries, let's kind of jump into our topic about traveling before, let's say maybe as early as like 30 years ago, like in the 90s, right? Or even like the early 2000s before like Wi-Fi even
Very
took
old.
off. Very, very old. I don't have any experience. Obviously, I don't think any of us do. Maybe you guys might have. I mean, the only experience I have was, again, I don't want to keep sounding repetitive, is when I went to Tokyo for the first time and I had nothing, like no working phone, because I was still a rookie. Nowadays, if I travel, sure, I know there's going to be Wi-Fi hotspots everywhere, or I can sign up for one of those like data plans, like those traveling data plans for like $100 a day, right? Which is going to cost an arm and a leg, but I know if I ever needed it in an emergency, I can kind of rely on that. But I did meet, I actually have a cool story to tell. I was actually on a train. This was when I was in India, and I was training from New Delhi to the Taj Mahal in, where the hell is it? Oh my God, in Agra. I was on the way to Agra and Varanasi. And I was talking to this old man because we had these little cool looking bunks. And he was well into maybe a senior citizen, probably 60s or 70s, whatever. And he was telling me that he was just a frequent visitor to India. He's like, I've been coming to India since like the 70s. I was traveling to India. And I thought, oh my God, like, what was it like traveling to India in the 70s? Like, how did you get around? He's like, well, I just had a map, right? Just a map. And I just had all my routes I wanted to take, all of my points of interest. And that's how I got around. I'm like, well, how did you know like what hotels were going to be available, what places to stay at? And I think back then, I think travel agencies were kind of prominent during that time. Yeah, it was probably just traveling states. Like, all right, I want this book here, here, here. But nowadays, I don't think those existed anymore.
Like my family went to the States when I was in '96 for like a month.
Yeah.
And I haven't asked my mum, but I pretty much guarantee the whole month was booked out in order. Like there was no room to be flexible because you want, okay, we need that hotel, we need that flight.
Yeah.
And you need the agency to do it all because there's no internet, or you can't research yourself. How do you research it yourself without internet? Like, what do they do?
Yeah.
So this is all before internet. No Wi-Fi, no internet. This is like right in the early days. So I just assumed there's less flexibility with travel. Everything had to be booked out. You had to use travel agents, which I assume back then I'm curious. I'm sure they made a lot more money and a lot more commission back then because you had to use them. Yeah.
Yes.
Buying flights and all that stuff.
I was gonna say, like, as a kid, like we never left the US. Like we never flew anywhere outside the US other than like Mexico, but come on. Yeah, all the like small like Mexican cities, like near the border, like little border towns, but that was pretty much it. And then I thought about when I was maybe 15, 16, I just started to learn how to drive. Like, how did I
Yeah.
know where the hell to go? Like, this is before, like, again, like ways or directions. Like, you just knew it just by landmarks and just learning to drive. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go to my friend's house, I'll meet you there. But you just kind of pick up, and I guess you're just
Mm.
more alert at the
I
time.
had to do one of my first jobs was Domino deliveries, Domino pizza
Oh,
deliveries.
that's what I think about,
This
like
is before
taxis and
photos.
delivery
Yeah.
drivers. Yeah.
I spent 10 years getting looking at my map, like my we put a what do we call it? It's like a map, a street map.
Yeah.
It's like 1,000 pages, and like, try to find that address.
Oh,
You got to look up the glossary to find the street, and
yeah.
then it took forever to
Yeah.
just get where you got to go,
Mm.
and then you got to
Yeah.
follow. Then you miss the street, then they started building like townhouses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was a new thing in my little areas. Townhouses and hotels like 56 point /3 and 54 point /2. We've got to find all these addresses.
Yeah.
It's not really traveling, but oh my god, before phone
Yeah.
trying to do that job. Now you got Uber drivers. They, you know when they're coming to you. You can follow them following
Yeah.
on the map
That's GPS
coming
now,
to you.
right? It's all
Yeah,
satellites. It's just tracking your every single move.
you
Even
can
though
see
like
if
a
there's
coupon, right? Like,
stops
oh,
and eating your food or something.
exactly. We're like, oh,
Yeah.
McDonald's on the way. You see the driver on his little scooter, right? Coming
Mm.
to
Yeah.
the doorstep. Yeah. What about you,
Yeah.
Hyuk Chun? What's your input? Do you have any stories?
Um,
Experiences?
I'm pretty much the same with you. Like I never been outside of Korea before my 20s, but actually my grandmother went to Japan
Yeah.
in really early 2000s or late 90s.
Mhm.
Actually, she was born in Osaka.
Nice.
Like
I like that
my
place.
my
I like
yeah,
that place a lot.
my grandma is a Korean, but she born in Osaka,
Yeah.
and her cousins and her siblings were still live there. So she basically booked a flight, and then she got lots of help from the someone you know who lives there.
Mm.
And I think well, it's a kind of like um choice between you're gonna use the travel agency, or if you know someone, or if you know someone who's friends from me, or
Yes.
something like that, then you're gonna ask them, where should I stay, where should I go, and then and they will pick you up in the airport, like saying,
With a little sign.
grandma
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that. Just
If
like have
you
like a limo driver wait for me. Not that like limos are a thing anymore. They're very like old school. But just have like a driver
yeah,
there to assume like that's me. I'm Mr. Briones. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
yeah, that's
I was
good. That
actually
is cool. I remember we did do a limo pickup in Vegas. It was fun as a kid. Like,
yeah.
I don't think
That's
it's expensive. Like, we didn't have a lot of money, so I don't think it's
yeah.
expensive. Like, it's just one of those gimmicks that
Yeah, I
have
rented one
a
for my prom
hotel
too.
package. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was funny. Mm.
I remember we even before I even started to drive as well. I don't know if you guys had it. It was called MapQuest. And basically it was the same thing, but this is when, like the internet was just kind of like a new thing. So like the early
Yeah.
2000s or whatever. And no, I remember I used it was like 2009, 2010. My buddy and I, we actually we drove from Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to San Antonio, Texas, which was about 16 hours, so about a 16-hour drive. And I remember I was typing in a friend's address in MapQuest, and you actually had to print it out, right?
Mm.
So you have like 10 to 12 pages of directions, like literally, all right, step 1, step 2, make a right, drive this many miles, take this exit, yada, yada, yada. So I remember him being like my co-pilot, and I'm just 20-year-old kid driving out of state for the first time on my own. And I'm just kind of like, all right, tell me where to go next. But my buddy was Colombian, and he was kind of learning English at the same time. So we were just kind of like this language barrier. I'm
Yeah.
like, is this the exit? Is this I'm getting like frantic as I'm driving,
Yeah.
because it's like the middle of the night. I'm like, is this the exit that I take? Or he's just I'm like, say something, speak English, goddammit. Like, we're gonna get lost. I'm not getting pulled over in Texas. But eventually we got there. But it's
Oh,
just
that's
funny.
good.
Remember, it's just flipping through the pages. Like, all right, what page are we on now? Where do we gotta go? Just discard that page, throw it in the back seat onto the next direction. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when 2008 now, moving the next decade, like internet was around, but it wasn't on my phone. I didn't have data. Like, you never had data. So I remember I first moved overseas, Canada. So the hostel world was around back then. You know,
Hostel
you went
World.
website
Yeah.
hostel. Yes.
I
So I
love that
booked the
place.
hostel and all that, but I also love the Lonely Planet books. I used to get all the Lonely Planet books
Lonely
and just
Planets.
carry them with me.
Planet,
But sometimes the hostels weren't in the map in that designated area. So I'd draw the map on a piece of paper, then I have to draw the little
Yeah.
extra bit to
Oh wow.
Mm,
find where I'm going. So
That's
Yeah.
I'm
cool.
walking around with this map of Lonely Planet,
yeah,
an extended
handmade map.
version.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Little
because I
post-it
didn't
notes
have
at the
data.
end.
Yeah.
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 So we had internet, but you didn't have data. So you had to still plan how you're going to get there, what bus you have to catch, what train you have to catch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, so you still had to be pretty organized to find your hostel.
Mm.
That was 2008, and so 2008, I don't think I ever had data on my phone until I came home in 2015, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
I was quite late with the whole data process and stuff like that. So I was traveling with Lonely Planets and doing internet cafes and all that sort of stuff. Booking my next hotel, I did backpacking through Europe 2009, and it's all internet cafes. I did have a laptop, actually. I did have a laptop, so I'd go find internet and book my next place.
I'm sure that damn thing was like so bulky too, right? The old
Yeah,
school laptops. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
it wasn't that old.
Well, no, because my first laptop, 2007, was a Dell laptop, and this thing was like super thick. You could hear like the fans going because it was like overheat. It was
Oh
like,
yeah.
you know, like every
Yeah.
single time, and it was just a pain. It was like bricks carrying that around. So I can imagine having to go to these internet cafes with this book, like, boom, all right, here we go. Let me just chime in. You've got mail, you know, you know.
Yeah, but I
That's
sort of
pretty
brought
cool.
this topic up with you guys because as I've moved into this hotel I'm in at the moment, the Wi-Fi is not working very good. So I'm like, so yesterday, last night, I had to go to the cafe because I wanted to upload a video and all this sort of stuff. So I felt very old school because I've been living in luxury with 5 years of having unlimited data on my phone.
Yep.
And soon I've got to go to KT and tell them to shut my phone off because I don't want to pay any bills. So soon I'm going to be dataless on my phone until I go to Vietnam. Vietnam, I'll buy a package and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm a bit old school. Soon I'm going to be very old school. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be off the
It's
map.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we're kind of spoiled here, especially Korea. They're very generous with like their data packages. I've never had unlimited data before, like ever.
Yeah.
That's true.
But it's not really, I don't know. To each their
What
own.
about you in Australia, Hock? How was it going without internet in Australia?
Yeah, how'd you get around?
Even now, Australia's internet's pretty bad.
Is it?
So basically, and you know that time was like 2012, 13. So it was the Google Map was there, and the I think you know it. Australia, they have a TomTom. It's kind of a
That's
GPS navigator.
Mm.
But yeah, TomTom is not reliable actually. They don't have a signal in the desert area, which is the I think 80% of entire Australia is a desert in the
Desert.
middle.
especially where you were.
80% is desert, by the way. BT
Yeah.
knows. Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of did what you guys did, the mapcast kind of thing for on myself. I
Yeah.
didn't know the mapcast, so I printed the route and then you know how to go it.
Yeah.
And then I use the Google navigator to point to the other point. So they will tell me like how many kilometers and then turn left, something like that. So, yeah, it was kind of really fun. Is that you know I drove from a city called Darwin, and then I was going to the Els Rock. It's called Ululu. It's a kind of middle in the desert. It's a like huge rock that says they changed the color on the day. They actually changed the color because of the sun's angle or something. But I cannot forget about this message. Is that the GPS saying go straight to the Catherine Way and
Mhm.
take the route first, go 2,000 something kilometer and turn left.
2000?
2,000 kilometers.
That's like
That
1,200
was the
miles. That's a lot. That's
Yeah.
far.
that was ridiculous.
I hope it
Get
wasn't
some
just like a
petrol
long
first.
straight road. That'd be awful. Gosh,
So that-
1,200
Yeah.
miles. That's crazy. That's a lot
Yeah,
of
so
barren land.
for your information, there's a one highway called Stewart Highway. It's a highway number one in Australia. It goes from top north of Australia, and then they go straight to south.
Mm.
So it's in the middle, across the middle of entire
Nowhere.
Australia.
Yeah.
Hmm.
How long did it take you to do the drive?
I thought it took like 5 days.
5 days. Wow.
At least in America, you guys, like, America's a big country too, but at least
It
you guys
is.
got cities halfway through, like every sort of stop. But Australia, there's nothing in the middle.
Yeah,
Wow.
nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary.
So I camped like 5 days to go there. They still have a gas station, but they don't usually have accommodation with the gas station. So it's only the gas station and the like little convenience store. That's it.
Mm.
Have you guys ever had to use well, in the States we have it called like the Yellow Pages. Do you guys have that in Australia?
Yeah,
Was that
yeah,
something?
yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I remember using like in high school
Yeah.
because this is obviously
In
before
high
like
school?
Yelp or anything, right? This is before you could
I
just go on and
remember I had a
look at
it's like to look up phone numbers, yeah.
yeah, like
Mm.
businesses
Yeah.
or like
I remember
restaurants
I
or
had a-
something.
Or even like, I think, yeah, we had yellow pages and white pages. Maybe white pages was
White pages for
people's
people.
names.
The people's name.
Yeah.
White paper for people. Yeah, I think so.
I remember one of my best
Mhm.
friends was named Jones. Do you know how many Joneses there are in
I
Australia?
might have got that
It's-
backwards. Maybe the Yellow Pages were for people and the white
Yeah.
pages for the businesses. That's
How
it
many
was swapped.
Joneses there were? And
Yeah.
looking up for this guy's bloody name every time I had to call him was so
Yeah.
freaking annoying.
Yeah. But that was nice because back in
'Cause-
those days, you can actually just remember your friends' numbers. You know, you actually had to remember, or you had
Oh,
those
yeah,
little address books or
yeah.
a phone book. I remember my mom always had like front and back, like all of our relatives' names on a phone book.
Or the ones where you press the button L and it pops up like
Yeah,
this little
like those old school ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even now, like I don't think Soyoung knows her own phone number. She knows my phone number. You know, it's like nobody remembers phone numbers anymore.
No.
That's true.
But I remember just using Yellow Pages or White Pages for this case just to find like a certain business or like look at certain hospitalities or like food or restaurants or like a tattoo parlor because I was interested in getting a tattoo at the time.
$2.
But it's just amazing how that stuff just kind of just died off and it just makes you ponder like what else is coming to kind of make our lives a little bit easier.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. In Korea, we kind of have yellow pages, but it's only for the businesses. But if you are trying to find a phone number of a certain person, then you can call 114. I think it still works. 114, and then exact address and the name. Then you can get the landline number from 114.
Stalker.
Yeah, right.
So at that time, like when I was a little, like I know the
Juicy
father's name.
Bay.
No,
Dear God.
my friend's father's names. So like I call 114 and then can I have address this and the Lee Jong-soo's landline phone number, please, and then they will tell you.
Wow.
Yeah, Korean would be harder because I was saying about the Joneses. How many like
That's what I'm saying. If I were to
Kims?
say, like, yeah, if I were to say my wife's name, like how many would I get back in results? Like, I'm sure it would be refined, right? I would have to say which province she's in, which city,
Yeah.
right, street, or
No,
something
you
like
have
that.
to have
That's
an exact address.
Oh,
Exact
I would
address.
need
and
the
exact
Oh,
name.
okay.
So
Okay.
to stop the stalkers, probably. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Like you just said, there's so
Yeah.
many like K-pop fans, they'd just be calling people up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes me think of the movies. You know, the movies where they're just going through each phone number, like trying an American movie.
Oh,
like
yeah,
going through the yellow, finding
Yeah,
this
yeah.
particular
I saw that
person
the,
or
thriller
finding
movie.
the adopted dad or whatever. They're, yeah.
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 Mm.
There
What
isn't.
about
Go ahead.
okay, Jill?
I was just going to say, speaking about businesses directories, I was just going to ask, is there an equivalent to like Yelp in Korea? Or is it just like neighbor maps and neighbor blogs? Right. If I want to go to like a restaurant or just like find like a nice review or anything like that.
Mainly neighbor. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. Go ahead, Kate. Sorry.
No, what about 2020's boys traveling? Are you guys excited to travel? What's the go-to? Where are you guys going to go?
Well, apart from going back home and already 4 weeks, huh? My gosh, it's so fast.
Mm.
I know Soyeon just really wants to go somewhere tropical. Like I really want to take her to Thailand. Like I really do. And it's so cool because you can just do it a nice spur of the moment. Like we could just get the tickets and not have to worry about anything else. Like we could just land there. And I'm like, all right, let's find our accommodation now. You know, because now just everything's just available. Just
You
by
can do it.
phone. Anything
Yeah.
you want. Not a care in the world.
I-
Even with 2 kids, I can still do that.
Yeah. So you'd be flexible, or would you plan it all out?
I think for my family's sake, I plan a little bit, at least our first destination, and then once we were there, just go with the flow. Like upon arrival, I know we probably have to stay in Bangkok for a little bit, or take a bus down to, I don't know. I'd like to go to Pattaya. I've never been to Pattaya before, or Chiang Mai, like the
Yeah.
east, the handle of the country, because it looks like an axe. I call it the handle
Mm.
of Thailand. Yeah, yeah. I've never been over there. What about you?
Chiang Mai. What about you, Hokjun? What type of traveler will you be? A planner or a spontaneous man? I think you'd be spontaneous.
Yeah, I am the spontaneous one. And actually, it is also built up to me because my last work, I traveled a lot for business travel for going abroad, especially the Southeastern Asia. So even if I go to a business meeting, business travel, I only book the ticket, and I will take the I will see my meeting list, and then I will manipulate it, and then try to get the hotel that
Yeah.
goes with the breakfast, and then closest to the Kaosan, or like if I'm going to Bangkok, then
Yeah.
Kaosan or Asok Station. That's it. Yeah.
Him
I'm
talking about his
kind
itinerary reminds me of the episode where he was talking about if he had 24 hours in Korea or in Seoul, like what exactly he would do in that time. That's what it reminded me. Like no matter which country he would go to, he would kind of follow that. Make sure he had like the best night
So the good
spots, the
thing,
best places. Yeah.
so I've sort of been planning my Vietnam trip. So what I've done, I got this book and I've wrote every day.
See how
And
old
I've
school
got
he is? Who has like a yellow
the-
pad anymore with a pen, you know?
I'm old
Everything's just
school.
on their phones, right? He's like, and for my next one, page 32, hold on. Yeah.
What if you lose your phone?
What if you did?
But the great thing about traveling now is like you can book hotels and you can cancel them like 2 days before, so you can sort of
That
have
is
something
nice. Yeah.
set. Yeah, you can have something set away. So I thought I booked this hotel, I've kept it, but then I've sort of booked hotels the whole throughout the trip. But I'll can them if I don't want to go. Like I've got the last day that I can cancel written down, and then because I might get there and I'm like, no, I want to go that way. I might want to go that way. But especially weekends, I don't know what it's like these days, but I remember traveling in Canada, Europe, getting accommodation on weekends could be quite stressful and very expensive. So I've sort of booked my weekend accommodation. I can always cancel all these ones, no locked in. So yeah, that's a cool thing about traveling now. Like you couldn't do that in the 1990s. I don't think so. Like maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
you probably could just not show up. I guess so. Like
just like ghost them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghost your bookings. Because I think in the past you had to like put like a down payment or pay to pay just a little bit extra if you wanted the option to cancel in the first place. If you wanted like flexible booking, I think that's what it's called. But now, yeah, as long as you get like 24 hours within, you can just be like, no, thank you. Which makes it easier. Are you finding yourself just staying where you just could do like backpack hostels like that, or are you doing a couple Airbnbs?
After doing this, I'm doing budget now, and I'm going to live it up a little bit. Yeah,
you should.
Like,
I was
not
just
a
gonna
lot,
say, yeah. Okay, something nice. Get a nice Airbnb, just like,
Yeah, the Da Nang one. I'm staying in Da Nang first. And I think it's about $18 a night. So it's and it's big double bed. There's a pool in the apartment.
in
One
the
block
apartment.
from Not in the apartment.
I know,
apartment.
like the complex. It gets its own
Yeah,
little
yeah,
private
yeah,
pool.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
not in the
And
damn
then
living room. Oh, there's a pool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
and then 1 block from the beach. So that's
Oh,
so this
A block from the
trip
beach.
I'm not
Mm.
yeah. This trip I'm not trying to smash every sort of location. I'm taking it slow and I just want to enjoy the trip, not
Yeah,
boom
just
boom
go to
boom.
the beach,
And
get a
then
nice little
see if
Mai Tai, and just be like, hey, this is good.
yeah.
That's it.
I think Da Nang, I don't know if you guys know Da Nang very well, but it's got an
It's
airport like
central.
7 minutes
Right.
from down. Yeah, so it could be a good little hub to. That's why I think a lot of digital nomads love Da Nang. It's good fly out, fly in sort of place, and it's got the beach. I
Yeah.
haven't lived next to a beach in 5 years, so
Yeah.
yeah,
You
I'm
do like the
excited to live
water.
next to the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so cool.
And then next to Da Nang, you got Hoi An, you got Hue, the old capital city of Vietnam. So
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm very excited, actually.
Good.
Yeah. So
That's great.
it's a bit hard though. I was messaging Hokjun last night, and I went to a Mexican restaurant. $30. $30 for nachos, 2 tacos, and a beer.
Yeah, don't get me started.
$30.
We went for lunch day at this Japanese restaurant. It was the worst experience I've ever had. That's why I was talking about like Yelp, because I want to just leave like a terrible review for this business. I just wanted to burn to the ground. It was super expensive, $30, and it was just literally just like soba noodles and it's like some like bop rice mixed with like eel. And that was it. And it took like 50 minutes for the food to arrive to our table. And it was just small.
Really?
And I was super pissed. But yeah, super expensive. So I relate with Keith. It's
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
wouldn't say
Pricing
the
is
food was
ridiculous.
bad. It's just typical, like I said, Belgian, typical Mexican food other in outside Mexico. Like Mexican food is cheap. It's meant to be cheap and
Yep.
natural. Why are you paying $30 for lettuce and tomato and a bit of guacamole? Like, but the food is okay. But yeah, so I'm having trouble holding on to my budget to go to Vietnam. Like, I want to go to the Michelin star. Oh shit, there's a Michelin star restaurant just around the corner.
Okay.
That's only $12. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
So trying to hold my budget. It's not
You
easy.
should.
Though.
Well, don't forget your
Yeah.
birthday's coming up this weekend too, so you don't want to splurge too much now. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have to come up with something too.
Yeah. Do you got any plans for this upcoming weekend? Birthday
Not
plans?
yet. I think the Sunday I think I'm going to go down to Changwon, meet some friends down in Changwon. So get to do that hungover. Saturday I'll still try to go out with maybe Hokjun or find someone to go out with me and go out.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
That's neat.
Cool.
Try not to drink too much. Yeah.
Everything in moderation.
Moderation.
Yeah.
No, go extreme. Like I always recommend to go extreme because you're gonna have the night that you cannot forget.
Well, you might
You're gonna
forget it.
like. I mean, like
this
is kind of for me. Yeah, my weird, but there's a song about it too. Like, so you're gonna pass away, so you're gonna live your life that you will remember. So go extreme.
Yeah, but then I just don't like being hangover the whole next day. I just feel like a waste of.
It's not a good feeling. Just drink some pickle juice.
Pickle juice.
That's my remedy. So this wraps up today's episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in weekly and supporting our podcast. If you want to receive updates whenever we release new episodes, head to our website and sign up to our mailing list. Be sure to follow us across our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Linktree. And also please remember to like our videos on YouTube to help expand our channel. Last but not least, if you haven't already, please take the time to rate our podcast to grow our audiences as we bring new and fresh material weekly. Until next week, guys, thank you so much for coming today. And
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next week. I'll give you an update on my anniversary trip. So
Laters.